Um, the thing I wanted to discuss in this video was concerning the state of hip-hop as it is today, as of 2013. First, I want to address how a lot of people see it and what the reality of the game is right now. A lot of people perceive the rap game right now to be in this sort of revival stage, you know, where so-called real hip-hop is coming back and shit like that. And of course, there's all this some hype around New York supposedly coming back, and people claiming that New York rappers coming back means that real hip-hop is coming back. And of course, it's a growing music scene in the West Coast. And the West Coast is coming back to the forefront due in part to Kendrick Lamar. And so the overall sense that a lot of people got about rap music right now is that it's a revival and real music coming back or whatever, especially when you talk about lyricism, which part of that is true. The lyricism is coming back, but overall what I see the game going through right now is a state of it's basically a state of biting, really, and a state of it's this whole 90s mentality, this whole bring back the 90s shit, which I think is bad. It's real bad for any music genre. That's not good at all, because bringing back something automatically means that you're not helping the genre to grow. Why in the fuck would you want to repeat stuff that's already happened? Like, how impressive is that for new artists to come along with the mentality that I'm going to try to bring back or revive something that's already happened? There's a lot wrong with that. I think it's cheating the fans, for one, because if you're old enough to remember the 90s, then seeing other people try and bring that style back, it should, like in my case, I'm an 80s baby, an 87 baby to be exact. I don't really find that to be but so entertaining to see shit that I done already heard before be repeated, whether it be them quoting rappers from the 90s lyrics, whether it be them imitating their style and their flow, which they do. A lot of these rappers, they incorporate their style, and the worst part is not only do they incorporate 90s artist style, but they claim that the shit is theirs just because they don't model themselves exactly after that artist. But it don't matter whether you took a little bit of their style or a lot of bit of their style, you still biting, and it's just too many wannabes in the rap game to me. It's like ain't nobody trying to be original, with the exception of as far as newer artists. And by newer artists I mean, I'm not talking about 90s artists like Jay-Z or Nas or Snoop or none of them. They ain't got nothing to prove. I ain't talking about them at all. I'm talking about the newer artists. As far as the newer artists, the only person really that's original that I can think of off the top of my head is Lupe Fiasco. And I'm talking out of the ones that I heard. I recently listened to Yellow Wolf 2, the dude, the Eminem song. He sound pretty original. But it ain't really overall, it ain't too many people that's original, that's trying to come up with some original shit. Everybody on this bring back the 90s stuff. And even if it ain't they go to bring back the 90s style, they still biting on the 90s artists. And that's stupid for a couple of reasons. And the main reason that's stupid is because, like I said, you're not helping the genre to grow. And if you're not adding to nothing, you're not going to be remembered. Like, how you going to be remembered when all you're doing is adding to something that already happened? To define yourself is great. You got to do shit that ain't never been done before. Innovation is the way, and people not taking that route. And that's messed up. I think they cheating the fans, like I said. And also, another reason that it's stupid to be on this whole bring back the 90s mentalities is another reason is because these artists nowadays, they ain't even talented enough to do some shit like that. They ain't even on the level of 90s artists. So why in the fuck would you even make an attempt like that? That's dumb as fuck. They don't even have the talent to do that. So I don't really get that. And people gotta understand too, when you're talking about trying to revive a certain style of music, it's a certain soul that comes with that music, a certain soul of that generation. It's not the same generation. That's why you can't duplicate that music or even come close to it, because the stuff that was going on in the 90s as far as society, it ain't going on now. It's a reason that gangster rap was so big way back when. It's a reason that the style of music was the way it is back then. But this ain't way back when. This is 2013. And the stuff that's going on now ain't the stuff that was going on in the 90s. For example, one of the main reasons that gangster rap took off the way it did was due in part because the 90s generation of kids was considered one of the most rebellious generations of kids, period. And that only gave those kids or those generation kids like me who grew up in the 90s, that caused those kids to gravitate towards that kind of music, because gangster rap was real rebellious at the time, and so is that generation. This generation, I mean, I guess you could say every generation of kids is rebellious, but not like the 90s. I mean, it can't get worse than when you're talking rebellion amongst the youth. It can't get no worse than the 90s or the late 80s. It just don't get no worse than that. And the point is, that type of music, it really represented what was going on, not just in music, but with that generation that was growing up listening to that music. That was a real rebellious time, and the whole mentality that the gangster rap embodied, it was the same mentality kids had. That whole I don't give a fuck mentality. That was true to the life of a lot of kids growing up. And it's just not the same. Like I said, people's reason for trying to imitate what was going on in the 90s is stupid, because it's just not the same feeling. It's not based on what's going on in society. Their whole reason for trying to bring back that sound or whatever is due mainly to because they see it as being cool. And you can't just bring something back just because it's cool, because it's no soul there, you know what I mean? It's all the stuff that helped drive that style of music, it's not there, because it's not the same generation, it's not the same society. Also, you can't really bring back the 90s artist style, because you can't imitate their personality, you can't imitate their style, you can't imitate their passion. Like, what would somebody look like imitating Pop, which a lot of artists do, when you don't have his personality, you don't have his upbringing, you don't have his passion or nothing, and you don't even have the experiences that he went through in the 90s to even be rapping like him, rapping with the anger he might have rapped with, rapping with the passion he might have rapped with, rapping with the type of conscious mind he had. It's just a lot of stuff that affects the way music is. It's not just somebody sitting down and writing music because it sounds good or they think it's cool. That's how it is nowadays. But before this time, music had more of a reason that it was being made. It was more of a story behind it, and that's just not the case now. But the point is, it's useless to try to bring back a sound like the 90s sound when you pretty much don't have no reason for what you're doing other than the fact that you think it's cool or something. And of course, the 90s sound was based on more than that. Matter of fact, every generation of music besides this generation, the music had more of a meaning behind it and more of a soul behind it. It's very rare that you get songs like that nowadays where the music has got a deeper meaning, and those are the type of songs that last long. That's why songs nowadays, they don't last long. But I always like to compare the rap game as it is now to the dunk contest, because it's like pretty much you can expect to get the same thing over and over. Everything that they doing now, it's already been done, and it's already been done better. So all they can do is imitate, but not only are they just imitating, but they're not doing it better. So I don't really see the point. I want to also bring up something that a lot of people might ignore. As far as originality goes and stuff, and as far as this whole revival, real music in New York coming back and all this stuff, and how so many people glad that the South is dying as far as its hold on hip-hop or whatever. One thing I always say about Southern music, even though I ain't no fan of it, even though I'm a Southern boy myself, you know, I'm from the South. One thing I say about Southern music from Lil Jon and crunk music to whatever. Even though it might not have been the best music lyrically or whatever, it was way more original than the shit people coming out with now. All these people that's on this whole bring back the 90s movement, this shit ain't original at all. And at least the thing you can say about Southern music is, for the most part, it was original, and they was adding to music rather than repeating history. So that's one way you could look at it. It's not completely bad what took place as far as Southern music dominating for so long, because Southern music was an example of being original. And now music nowadays, it's an example of what not to do, which is repeat history. So I think that's something that's been overlooked, and that's something that's missing now that Southern music is no longer as popular. That's just my opinion on it. Again, I want to say again, for all these people who standing up for these artists and saying, man, you need to cut them some slack, you need to give them credit. I don't really get that. I'm like, give them credit for what? Anytime an artist lie and say they being original, even though what they really doing is incorporating other artists' style, I think, and then you giving them credit for being such a great artist, I think that's stupid as fuck. I don't even know how people do that. Well, I do know why. It's because they settling, because this is all they got. It's the only thing artists are offering, so they're going to take whatever they being offered. But I think they should hold artists to a higher standard. I think artists should come out with original songs and look to add to the music history and not repeat it, because it really don't serve no purpose. That's just my opinion.